Hi everybody, good morning. Well, it's day 4 of sort of self-imposed lockdown here in Los Angeles where we are. And I've got a strange thing going across my screen there, so I hope you'll bear with me. My phone has decided to crack into 1,000 pieces, so let's just consider it sort of some positive light being shed on the scene. So here today I am in my exercise pants because I am doing my fitness challenge for myself with my family, but we're all trying to get better at certain things like plank and number of sit-ups and things like that. So that's been really a helpful motivator. I find wearing the clothes helps keep me, focused on doing it throughout the day, whether I'm gonna drop and do the sit-ups at one point and then later do squats or something. And I keep saying I am not a fitness enthusiast really, but I know that mentally, just like getting dressed in something that is comfortable and makes me feel ready for a task, I know that doing the exercise is important for my mental state of mind, if nothing else. So I was just with some neighbors, 6 feet apart, out of doors, and I was talking about, ideas that I could do for my videos here. And one of them was, I said, well, I thought I had some darning I could do and maybe encourage people to grab the piece and we could even just sort of darn along together. And someone actually brought up buttons. So I thought, okay, that's pretty simple. And I think maybe even more necessary than darning for some. So I never had a home ec class, but I did have a grandmother and mother who had ample sewing kits. They were not, well, my grandmother was a major sewer and creative, all her own clothes and so on. But, my mom and I would just darn socks. And so I have this little mini kit here, and hopefully everybody has a sewing kit of some kind. This was made by my beloved mother-in-law who set it up for me. And here I have, and perhaps if you don't have a bag such as this, I don't know if you can read it, but it says buttons, buttons, buttons. So over the years, I've been collecting the spare buttons on garments. And every time I have them, I think, what am I going to do? Connect this somewhere in relation to a garment? No, I just worry about if I ever am to lose a button on a garment, I'll just go into my deep stash of buttons. And who knows if this being stuck at home goes on and on and on. Perhaps I'll be making something out of them creatively too. Like I used to make picture frames with buttons, even though I'm the least crafty person on the planet. So I have this shirt that I wanted to show you. I love this shirt. It's really super lightweight cotton. It's like the Indian cotton. It's really somewhat sheer, but it still has that button-down look that I like, and I feel like it covers me up when there's some sun going, but it's missing a button. So I'm gonna go into my buttons, 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 and find something that lines up pretty clearly with what I need, which on this shirt is a 4-holed white pearlized button. So I'm gonna look for that, and let's see what I can find. Here's a 2-hole. Oh, I think I see one. I see one. Okay, great. Got it. So then, if you even have, you can do this if you have a sewing kit that maybe you've taken from a hotel or something like that. You don't need, a giant toolbox to do something like this. You need a simple needle and some thread. And if you are like me, you are having a increasingly difficult time threading needles because it's just so darn hard to see. But give yourself some time. Put my needle down, and here I'm going to pick out white thread because that is going to disappear against the background of the white button, the pearlized button that I've chosen. So you want to have a sharp scissor ideally. This is tiny, it is not the sharpest, but I'm going to cut about, I always cut a little more than I think I'm going to need. That may be a little shorter, but so for a button, you can see, if you can't see the thread, well, yeah, you kind of can't see it. You can see how long I've done it. And I'm going to thread my needle, hopefully, without too much problem. And yes, I put on some lipstick for y'all. And I had a piece of medicinal chocolate before I started this, you know. Between all that working out and being stuck at home and trying to be a school marm, I am giving myself medicinal chocolate. Okay, now for me, who, like I said, my eyesight, sometimes I can't find the damn hole in the needle. This may be less thread than I needed. So then, but anyway, I like to choose the biggest hole, makes it slightly easier. And then you go to the end of your thread. I've doubled the length of the thread, make it even at the ends. Put your finger like this, wrap it around your finger, and then roll. Let's see if I can do it from this angle. Roll your finger down and then pull. And then you have a little knot in the end of your thread. So we're ready to go. And I always start from, now this garment had a button previously, so sometimes that, you know, that makes it easier to line up with where you can sort of see sometimes where the hole was. Ooh, I'm actually missing 2 buttons on this one. Well, I'm just gonna go with the first one. All right, so I've lined up the placket. They call this part where the buttons are is the placket. I've lined that up with where I'm eyeballing it, you know, to go. It doesn't have to be so precise. And I'm starting from underneath. And now, that was kind of a weird way to do it, but there we go. So now I find that going crisscross, you can see, like, I've repaired 2 buttons on here, so I can see that the factory did it where they have the 2 things going like an 11. The thread is looking like 11, so top to top, you know, top, bottom, and then they go around the back, top, bottom. I'm just gonna do crisscross because I don't think anybody's looking at my buttons, and I feel like it makes it a little stronger, and I can use less thread. So I'm going in one side and out the other, and then crisscrossing, making an X pattern with the thread. And you just kind of do that, and you know, you don't have to worry so much about whether it is like literally lined up because you always have a little bit of wiggle room. And that is generally how you do it. And if you wanted, I suppose you could put some kind of a fun color thread, you know, a contrasting color thread. That could be fun if you have a boring top. This top is blue. So I could do a contrasting color like orange or something if I felt like committing to that. And then you just keep track of which way you've gone and keep the pattern going. And you don't have to do too many passes, but I hate to waste thread once I've gone to the point of, you know, loading it up. I think this is going to be enough. And then we crisscross, we crisscross. What else have you guys been doing? Please let me know, by the way, while I'm doing this, if you have any requests for videos, because Lord knows I've got the time and I would love to stay connected, and I think it's so important. And I always say I'm a confirmed Luddite. You know, I'm not a fan of technology, but I am so, so grateful for it these days, more than I truly ever have been. And such that, you know, when my phone cracked the other day, I was like, I cannot live with this amount of cracks on this phone, and I need to have a phone that's working, and it's starting to like buckle the whole shape of the phone. So I thought, I just have to get a new iPhone, and I'm fortunate that I'm able to do that. So it's coming shortly, and I should be finished with this weird ghostly halo effect that's coming across the front. But as I said, I'm going to imagine that as the, you know, light coming down from the heavens, positivity shining on us. Okay, so now we're at the back. I'm nearly finished. I'm going to go with the, to tie this off, I'm going to go underneath. By the way, I'm not a perfectionist about this kind of stuff, as you can probably tell. If I was a true seamstress, I suspect they may have other and better tips, but you know what? For me, done is good enough on things like this. As long as the button is on there, it's fastened, it matches closely enough to the others, and it's functional, I'm good. So, to tie it off, you gotta make a good knot, right? So I go under all the stuff that I've just threaded and kind of come through, and I'm sure I'm doing this, there will be sewers that scream at me, and then I'm looping through the loop that it makes, so then it kind of pulls tight. I'm gonna do one more of those underneath what I've sewed on the back side of the garment, through the loop, pull it tight, and then, by the way, you don't have to be a weirdo like me and keep this garment on the hanger like I'm doing here. I'm just doing that because, I don't know, didn't think about it too much. But, so now I'm gonna do that same knotting thing that I did before, but I'm gonna start a little bit farther down the length of this so that I can trim any extra thread at the end. So I'm gonna go here as close as I can with my big fat fingers here and make a little loop and then run them together and then pull it so it knots. I'm gonna try to do it one more time. You know what? I may have whiffed that. That's way too long. So, all right. We'll just tie it in a knot. I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Look at me, I'm just gonna loop it through. And if you have tiny fingers or more dexterous fingers than I have, good on you. You can probably get that knot closer down to the actual source of the thing. Okay, so we're doing that. And then we can trim any excess. And there you go. You're all set. And it looks pretty good to me. So if you have any other questions about this, I hope that you will send them, or any requests. As I said, thanks for spending time, and I hope everyone stays well and healthy and safe, and pick up a new hobby like fixing buttons. You can do it.